Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Cone Dodger here, and welcome back to Automation, the car company tycoon game. It is the year 1947 in our first full Lite campaign playthrough. We have developed ourselves the Voxel. It is in engineering, ready for production in, let's see, how did the order of the months go? I believe June of 1948. 30 years of existence, and I still don't know the numbers of the months. Congratulations, Cone. And I said that before that car even sees the light of day, I wanted to start production or start engineering on another vehicle so that we don't have any gaps. I really want things to be rolling by the early 50s because that's when the era of cars that I feel a little bit more confident about building begins. So I had paused the game here in 1947, and I honestly sat here and went through all of the bodies that are available to us right now and just made some rough sketches of cars, just feeling things out. What direction should I take the company? What should I do to help boost our production numbers, get some sales going? We're probably not going to turn a profit on any of these first cars, but we don't want to lose our ass on them either because, $2 billion, we've already cleared out 200,000 of that, or 200 million of that, sorry. And that could go away really, really quickly. So it's important that these first cars are moderately successful. The Voxel, I'm honestly not 100% confident in being a huge seller, but I think it will help our reputation. What I've chosen for us to do next, I think, should be a pretty good seller, and it's going to make one fan of this series really, really excited. So this will be the Vanity Truffle, and it is a large utility style van, and I have chosen to do this because honestly the sedans and coupe options for us at the moment, well, they suck. There's just not a ton of really good profitable options for us at the moment to make a sedan or coupe in the commuter market. I just can't seem to get those to work in the affordability type of way. And we don't seem to have enough reputation to sell into the higher classes, like, the premiums. So why not something utility? The market for utility is stable, and there's somewhat little competition from what I could see. So I'm going to try and design ourselves one or two utility vans. So this is going to be the people one. Very descriptive. It'll be the one with the doors. There is also... Okay, here's the things that I chose here. Ladder. We don't have unibody to choose from yet anyway. Steel, longitudinal, double wishbone, leaf in the rear so we can have a good amount of load capacity. I can play around with that and see if coil would be better for comfort, but I'm not sure yet, so we'll have to do that at the end. Gave it a basic design. It's a van. There's not a whole lot of design to it, to be honest. I suppose it could use some taillights, couldn't it? That would be very helpful. And let's see here. Where are those circle ones? Right there. There we go. Perfect. And can't really do the license plate thing because it would be centered. So that's fine. Rear wheel drive. Let's make it nice plain white color. And... oh, I just realized that was a terrible decision. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to need a nice, very torquey engine for this thing, and I would like to get our company moving towards making some V8s anyway, so let's try one here. And I'm going to try some things that are maybe a little bit different on this engine versus our first engine, because I don't think that was a particularly successful build. I wasn't really happy with it. And I think one of the things I want to change is trying to not consider push rods. Well, let's just look over some things here. The direct acting overhead cam, it's not the type of overhead cam setup we're used to in modern times. However, it has extremely low engineering time. It has average friction and an average max RPM, so we could let the engine rev a little bit higher, have less valve float issues, which we had a lot of with our first build, and you will have a lot of. But I think if we can get the ball rolling on this direct acting overhead cam now, that will be good for us in the future. Of course, this engine will be very low compression. Cam profile will probably be rather simple. And carbureted, there's basically no new options to us. It's only been a year. So we got some time. Regular leaded. We got a lot of time to worry about that. Really, that's not even on the radar yet. Let's try for a 5,000 RPM limit. That would be nicer. Short cast. We certainly don't need that much exhaust. Probably 146 horsepower would be a lot for this to make. Let's see. Actually, I think we are right there. Is anything blowing up? No, but we are indeed a little bit restricted in exhaust. So okay. And a little bit of valve float. We could probably just reduce the bore down to resolve those issues and not lose very much horsepower at all. Now everybody is happy. And number-wise, 149 horsepower, 182 foot-pounds. That's those are good numbers. The 182 foot-pounds is particularly good. Of course, up the compression, get max efficiency out of this thing. 185, 151. That's not too shabby. 35.8 reliability. It is what it is there. There's not a whole heck of a lot I can see to do to increase the reliability. None of the bottom engine parts are really struggling, per se. And to make it more reliable, I would have to spend quite a bit of money by putting quality into things. The quality of the carburetors is one that's particularly important, and you can squeak a lot of reliability out of it by increasing that, if we need to. So there you go, a direct acting overhead cam, not terribly unfamiliar to us. I've seen some single overhead cam setups similar to this, but most good single overhead cam setups have rockers and 3 valves or 4 valves per cylinder. So it's a very simple overhead cam, basically. I think that will do it for an engine for now. We can return to this in the future if needed. Let's see a basic build here and if this is even feasible. Hoping that it will be. So we should be able to get some really big tires. Really big tires on this thing. Maybe not that big, huh? So that should help make it have good drivability and such. Probably the hard, long life ones. This is a utility vehicle. Brakes, we unfortunately don't have the 2 SLS, I think that's what they're called, drum brakes. We're stuck with the singles. So brakes are going to be a toughie again. So this is probably going to be a family car, a basic people mover. Basic interior will probably be our best selling, and no entertainment. Who needs entertainment when you have room for 6 or possibly 9? Alright, and let's take a look here at the suspension. Normal, let's make sure it doesn't bottom out. Let's make sure it doesn't bottom out. I have a history with that. And increase that front damper, get the comfort up. Our drivability is an 18.3 right now. I would like to increase that significantly. It seems as though it's actually having far too much understeer, making it very hard to drive. Interesting. Apparently this body has a little bit of lift to it, so we're going to have to put some more understeer back into this thing, just to keep it from doing the weird arrow stuff. Yeah, that will counteract that. But overall, it's got the drivability up to 22.4, which is not an astoundingly good number, but it is a huge van. How much are you really going to improve the drivability on this thing, to be honest? Scores are looking okay so far. I'm trying to not get freaked out so much by the low affordability numbers on the bottom. More so looking at the desirability numbers. So if we look at those, we're doing okay. We'll have to see what happens when we increase the profit margin on this thing, though. That's where I've been getting into trouble quite a bit. So I'm going to go through here, and this is something I'm going to really look at with all of my builds now, is go through the detailed stats, see where our huge negative percentages are, and try and work on those. For this car, there's a huge negative percentage on the gearbox. I don't think there's much we can do about that. Pretty huge on wheel spin. There might be some things we can do about that. So let's look. Currently it's 49%. That's a lot. But if we space these gears out more, aha, there you go. See? Much less wheel spin. And you know what? We could probably go down to this 2-speed box. Less wheel spin. Slower to 60. That's true. It is slower to 60. But I don't think that's too much of an issue. Especially if, you know, we're just spinning tires the whole time. Alright, so there we go. And that actually gave us a nice bump in the drivability. Brake fade has a negative 3.9. In theory, I could put some air into the brakes, but they're drums, and I don't think that's a huge thing. Understeer, oversteer, negative 7.9. It is still quite understeery, and the only thing I could really do is put medium compounds on it. That actually overall lowers scores. So I'm not sure that's particularly worth it. Comfort. What is our biggest comfort issue? That would be cabin noise. Interesting. Okay. So that's something I could look at. And probably not cost very much money. The entertainment, you see, I could increase that entertainment score a lot, but it increases the price, and the markets aren't happy with that. Steering weight, unfortunately, there is no power steering available to us, so that's not gonna be increasing. Let's look at this exhaust. We already have a baffled muffler on there. You could do 2 of them and see what that does for us. And look to see if that ruined our engine or not. It only brings us up 1 point on comfort. Utility 1069. Surprised it's not doing well on that, but I guess because it's maybe the passenger version. We'll see what the utility version does. Yeah. Okay, we'll keep it. I think that's I think it's actually happier with that. One thing at the very beginning I wanted to look at was coil versus leaf. So let's put coil on the back. It's probably going to change a lot of the attributes of the handling. So we may need to look at the suspension first. Let's see. Comfort went up. Prestige barely. Off-road went up. Bottoming out. So now it's bottoming out more. So we'd have to raise it up more. But overall, it lowered scores. So back down with you. And back to the leaves in the back. I think that's just the better fit for utility. So we'll stick with that. Too far. You went too far, Cone. Okay, so that does it for the people. Let's make a copy of that. And make a utility. So the utility body does increase the utility score, as I had hoped. It's also a slightly lighter body. It's also slightly cheaper to produce. Interesting. Aha, now it's a good delivery vehicle. It's scoring amazingly in delivery, actually. We'll see if we can do some things to increase its utility score. Too far again, Cone. You want to go to detailed stats, and you want to go to utility. Weight is an issue. Passenger space is an issue. Gear ratios are an issue. That's interesting. Engine idle. I don't know what to say about that. Maybe because it's a V8? I'm not sure. But gear ratios is the one thing I see that I have control over. So a 3-speed box on this would make it a better utility vehicle. It sure would. So that's interesting. Brake fade is another big one. That's a negative 13.7. Brakes, is there anything we could possibly do? We can't really put bigger wheels on it, so we can't get more brakes. In theory, we could pipe some air to them. Looks like I got some handling issues to take care of as well. But do we see brakes over here? I don't. Okay, so I'll have to go back to the braking thing. Brake fade, 3.6. So even piping, that was quite a bit of air, I think. Only 10. 3.3, so we can improve it. It does improve it. Do the race pads actually reduce it as well? 3.2, 3.1. Yeah, but makes it harder to drive as well. So it's a toughie there. Probably don't want too much in the way of rear brakes. As for comfort issues, it's so low on brakes that it needs every bit it can get, really. We could increase quality of braking, but the cost offset is not good enough. But hey, you know what? It's scoring so well down in here in these utility classes that we might just roll with that. It might be good enough. And what would it do with like a 50% markup? It's still quite green, still even above 100 on desirability with a 50% markup. So 40, yeah. We could potentially sell it at a 40% markup and sell a crap ton of them and hope to recover a good amount of money with this. Alright, so let's move on to factory stuff and engineering stuff. We have a 2-year, 11-month on the body, 2-year, 7-month on the engine, even without me working on it. So that's good. We can probably just increase the reliability of this engine. We want to make sure our reputation is not tainted by this thing. All looks good. Now, because we don't have anything in production yet, we're going to have to buy a separate factory for this thing. That's my understanding anyway. But that is fine because we're probably honestly going to need the space to do this anyway. So if we do a medium and oops, I just didn't choose the engine. A medium, I mean, these engines are going to be so simple to make that probably a small would do it. Let's see. Warning, engine factory cannot meet demand. Well, I didn't really set those yet, did I? No, okay. Yeah, I thought I had skipped a step somewhere down in there. So let's see. Medium to 197 a day. Oop, clicked off the window. And engine small to 71 per day. So 113 is the most engines we could make on this small plot. Medium 1, 132. Well, we can probably balance that out. That's probably doable. Let's see. How do we doable-ish that? That's with 3, so that's as many as we can make. Just lowering the shifts on this would be okay. I tend to always overproduce engines, so I think I would rather, at this point, keep the engines running at max capacity for their factory. This could be a car that's in production for a long time. I see that as a possibility. I think I'm happy with that. 40% base markup on utility, and we're good there. Let's look at people. I didn't put any markup on it yet, but let's do a 20%. 30%? 30%. Family Sport and Family Utility Premium. They're not above 100. I would love for them to be above 100. But basically, we can only do that with a 10% markup. Not going to make very much money doing that. So we may need to make some improvements on the family version here, or the people version. Well, one thing I did with the utility was I put brake airflow into it. Aha! They want a radio. That's one of the things they wanted. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. See, that's the things that's easy to miss. And what about standard interior? Oh, now we're talking. Now we're talking family utility premium. Now they are really liking this thing. 111 score. Interesting. Advanced safety? Ooh, buddy. 117, 121. It's getting more expensive, but those scores are so good that they might be willing to spend a little bit more money on it. Okay. Glad I went back and looked. Now, we can't get too excited because what did that do to our engineering time? 3 years, 7 months. So we're going to fund this thing. It's the safety that really takes the most time. How much score did that actually get us? Quite a bit, but it also makes it less affordable. So I think we can afford to lose that and maybe just engineer it a little faster. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Alright, but now, can we get to 20? Yes, and we're over 100 still. Nice, okay. Now, 20% markup is not huge, so we have to be hoping to sell fairly good amounts of volume on this thing. Taking a risk with it. It's a lower... I mean, the factories aren't huge, but I don't think spending the money on the huge factories on a car that is questionably going to be successful is smart either. Like I said, I really want to get to the early 50s. That's our goal here. If I can get to, like, 51 and still have $1 billion, I would say we're not in trouble yet. The numbers look good. Even on this, the people, it is 21 of 26, 18 of 27, 11 of 11. So we may even... Went into the dealer looking for a pony car, ended up with a van. Truffles is in this world. Yeah. This may actually turn out to be pretty good. And we may actually get to increase the profit margin on it. But heavy delivery, even with 40% markup, selling 85, that would be good for us. Okay, as of right now, we have way more demand than we can produce. So, we could increase shifts, or we could increase price. Bring it up to... Okay, yeah, see, that's what I was worried about. The engine factory is going to be our limiting factor there. We can go up to that, and like I said, just make more money off of each car. It's going to be something that has to be really constantly fine-tuned, I believe. So we will do just that as we move into production. These numbers will change by the time this thing's ready to roll, and it won't be ready to roll until January 1950. All right. Well, I am going to sign off on this guy. I think it's going to be good for us. A 2-year production break-even would be the best I've ever done in automation. That would be the best like campaign success ever. So that would be good. Here we go. No turning back now. Get in your comments about the stuff I forgot because, well, there's still nothing I can do about it. Alright, so now it is still just January 1st, 1947. Let's go ahead and go through a year here. Or, yeah, let's get to June of 1948 and we'll start production on the Vauxhall. Okay, pause. It's in production and we were selling a lot. So, let's take a look at her here. We may need to increase production on this thing. We are at 1.31. Not too bad there. So let's do an overall price increase. And fine-tune these two. Alright, that should be good. And I don't think we're overproducing on engines. We might be underproducing, but if it's about flush, that would be ideal. So let's continue on. Let's go for today till the end of 1949. Because like I said, I'm not going to produce another vehicle. I'm not going to start production or start engineering anything else. Start designing? That's the word I'm looking for. Till 1950, because I think that's where things get unlocked. I can look at that. Why don't I look at that? 50, yes. We get some new stuff. We get automatics. We get drum brakes, the nice drum brakes in 52. I wish I could throw money at these, increase the funding, and like get those drum brakes sooner. That would be nice. That would seem more worthwhile. Hey, the familiarity screen works now. Sales. Yeah, I'll say it's selling pretty well. Every convertible sport budget, every convertible budget, almost every convertible. Not really getting awareness there. Hey, convertible sport still in the rise. Deliveries on the decline, but not in any huge manner. Family utility premium is on the rise a bunch, so that should work out nicely. Man, they're buying them up like crazy. Still not staying in stock on the Vauxhall. At the end of the year, we sold 6,000 of them. I think we're going to break even on this thing earlier than they predicted if things keep going this way. Okay, now we're starting to set up some stock of them, so that's better. Engines, we're a little low on engines, it looks like. But we still have cars, so that's good. As long as we have cars, then we'll be fine. I think. I'm assuming that they don't consider a car until it has an engine. So you don't want to see an overage of engines. Okay, alright. We seem to be sitting on a ton of stock of them all of a sudden here. So yeah, it's become we've sold through that market, it looks like, or a new competitor has come out that is doing much better. So we'll just lower the cost of ours. Suck it, competitor. You see the split is increasing now. Now people really want the cheaper one. Interesting. Not a ton of time left in the year here. Yeah. But how did we do? Alright, we sold another 7,000 cars. Our reputation has increased. We gained 1.76 that year. We're not getting any prestige with that car. It's not an extremely prestigious car by any means. Oh, did the truffle? Oh, I don't think the truffle has gone into production yet. It's about to. So that is where we will start our next episode. We will be starting production on the truffle. And we'll look at engineering or designing a car since it's now 1950. And see what we can do. 52 would be a great year if we get those new drum brakes, because I feel like we could make a much more competitive car. So that's a decision we'll have to make next time. But as of now, that is where we stand. We still have 1.4 billion, so I said I wanted to have at least $1 billion to design the new car, and we do have that. So overall, I think things actually went pretty well for us today. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time in automation.